What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Running with MB. I'm MB. So we already covered those basic training terms. So now we're going to talk about the common races and the most common races for beginners is the 5K. Whether you're training for your first 5K or running around the block without stopping, mastering these fundamental terms are the secret sauce. So let's hop on in. What is a 5K? Simple. It's 5 kilometers, which equates to 3.1 miles. It's the most common and most accessible race. And here's why. Number one, the training commitment is minimal. You can, as a beginner, you can put together 8 to 12 weeks of training and be ready for a 5K. Number two, is very accessible. There's 5Ks nearly every weekend in major cities. And honestly, I'll put number three. There's mostly the cheaper options for races compared to like 10K, half marathon, marathon. When you run a 5K, remember it's not an easy run. It's not a tempo or interval run. Granted, you can run those races as either one of those, but as a 5K, it's you pushing yourself to a limit. It's meant to hurt. You're pushing yourself to your aerobic capacity. The goal is to maintain the fastest pace possible over the course of 3.1 miles. On a scale of 1 to 10, you were looking at about an 8.5 out of 9. A common mistake is starting off too fast. You should want to hold back the first mile and ease into your speed and let your last mile be your final mile. We call this negative splits. I remember my first race in Atlanta. I I ran the Publix 5K, so it's during the weekend of the Atlanta Marathon. Of course, this is before I knew Atlanta races are tough due to like the hills. Uh, I literally started way too fast. Like I was going, think maybe sub 10. That was back then when I was always worried about speed. Like I'm not worried about speed anymore. And I remember that last mile. I think, cause my goal back then was always to never stop running. I used to want to run consistently, and I always been shooting for that sub 35K. I just remember that last hill. I had nothing left in the tank. I couldn't get my legs up the final hill. It was a nasty hill right before the finish line. I think I finished around 33, 34. I can't remember, but it just goes to show you if I had a better strategy in that race or what I know now, I know I would have held back that first mile and not burn out quickly. How does our training terms apply here? Well, for one, you need your base mileage for consistency. You need your easy runs for recovery. And crucially, you need your speed runs to raise your speed ceiling. That way, you're able to run that faster pace during the race. The long run for a 5K doesn't need to be more than about 4 or 5 miles. Your training goal is more speed and not distance. If you sign up for your first 5K, here's a couple of tips. One, don't wear anything new. Use what you've been training in consistently. Two, arrive early. You have to get your bib sometimes. You gotta find parking, especially if you're in a major city and it's a large 5K. You definitely need that time to actually find parking so you're not rushing. And also, you're able to use the restroom. Uh, I would say one thing about running like your first couple of races, you may have the anxiety, the anxiousness, and sometimes it leads to uh, you know how some people, your stomach, or you might be trying to stay hydrated, and now you gotta like uh, release right before the race. And so many races have the worst bathroom situation. I know if you're in Atlanta and it says you're trying to do the PNC 5K, that bathroom situation in Atlantic Station is not something to play with. Number three, most importantly, embrace the feeling of discomfort. The 5K is long enough to push through that pain zone. You do not have to worry about replenishing your carbs. Most 5Ks also have that one water station midway through the race. So just run hard and enjoy the finish line and smile for the camera. Well, that's the first race, the mighty 5K. Are you training for a 5K right now? Let me know in the comments. I'm not training for 5K, but I definitely will be taking training. Well, racing more 5Ks in 2026. Had a lot of long distance races this year, so I'm trying to like dial it back so I can recover. All right, let me get to work. Tomorrow we're gonna double this pace. Well, we're gonna do double this distance and talk about 10Ks, which is actually one of my favorite races. So, see you later. Deuces.